city mayor here for our great city. A city that honors and respects its veteran community. Standing before the Freedom Memorial Art installation, we are gathered to honor the men and women overseas who have and continue to serve our country, to protect our American values and ideals. We would not be here today if it was not for the service of our military men and women. At this time, will all veterans in the audience please stand and be recognized? You're all a very handsome group out there, and I'm so happy to have you here. Brothers and sisters proudly wearing the uniform, every day is an acknowledgement to your sacrifice. While we enjoy the freedoms in our lives, you're on the front line, fighting for our privileges. While we have intimate conversations with our family and friends, your conversations are captured in letters. And while we grow our families, you risk your life for others. Our flag, the beloved Stars and Stripes, stands tall thanks to the sacrifices that our veterans make day in and day out. We as a community and as a nation stand strong thanks to the courage and bravery that our veterans display every day, everywhere. To our military men and women, you are our heroes. Veterans Day is just a small token of the endless appreciation that we have for you. We thank you. We must also pay gratitude to the millions of American military families who've sacrificed their time with their loved ones. Can the families of our veterans please stand and be recognized? I see a lot of women out there that stood up. Moms, sisters, grandmothers, you guys are the backbone of these young men and women who are serving our country. We thank you for your selfless sacrifice.
Dear Lord, today we honor our veterans, worthy men and women who gave their best when they were called upon to serve and protect their country. We pray that you will bless them, Lord, for their unselfish service and the continual struggle to preserve our freedoms, our safety, and our country's heritage for all of us. Bless them abundantly for the hardships they faced, the sacrifices they made, for the many different contributions to American victories over tyranny and oppression. We respect them, we thank them, we honor them, we are proud of them, and we pray that you will watch over these special people and bless them with peace and happiness. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen.
pay tribute to the prisoners of war and missing in action, conducted by American Legion Juniors Desiree Alvarado and Jocelyn Guerrero.
Notice the special table. It is reserved to honor our missing men. Set for one, the empty chair represents Americans who were or are missing from each of the services: Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, and civilians, all with us in spirit. Some here were very young or not yet born when the Vietnam War began. However, all Americans should never forget the brave men and women who answered our nation's call and served the cause of freedom in a special way. Let me explain the meaning of this table, and then join me for a moment of silent prayer. The table is round to show our everlasting concern. The cloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives when answering the call to serve. The single red rose reminds us of the lives of these Americans and their loved ones and friends who keep the faith while seeking answers. The yellow ribbon symbolizes our continuing uncertainty and the hope for their return and our determination to account for them. A slice of lemon reminds us of their bitter fate, captured or missing in a foreign land. A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears for missing and their families. The lighted candle reflects our hope for their return. The glass is inverted, symbolizing their inability to share a toast. The chairs empty, they're missing. Let us now have a moment of silence to honor America's POWs and MIAs, to the success of our efforts to account for them, and to the safety of all now serving our nation.
I'll ask us to now have a moment of silence for the family and friends of the MIA and POW soldiers. Thank you. I would like to thank the American Legion Unit 359, Ladies Auxiliary, and Sons of the American Legion for their efforts in supporting the city with this program. Can we give them a round of applause, please? At this time, I would like to introduce my colleagues who make this program and all our community programs possible. Please welcome Vice Mayor Luigi Bernola. Council members Tony Ayala, Jennifer Perez, and Leonard Schreier. Present with us is also our city manager, Jesus Gomez. We also have some special guests in attendance that I'd like to now recognize for their participation. Please stand as your name is called. Tony Perez, representative for Senator Bob Archuleta, State Senate 32nd District. Juan Carlos Guerrero, representative for Assembly Majority Leader Ian Calderon, 57th District. Cristina Garcia, Assembly Member, California State Assembly, 58th District. Raida Hamida, Representative for Assembly Member Cristina Garcia, 58th District. Dora Sandoval, President of the Little Lake City School District. Karen Spilsbury, our President from the Chamber of Commerce. I'd now like to ask Ladies Auxiliary President Becky Boulard to introduce the post-service groups.
Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, and honored veterans. It is so nice to see so many of you here today. Could I have all the veterans from the American Legion and the VFW please stand? Thank you for your service. Could I have the families of these veterans please stand? Thank you all for your support of these veterans, whether gone or back on the home front. The job you do is what keeps them going to accomplish what they have to. I'd like to introduce the color guard that was presenting the banners today. Will you please stand? For the Legion was Al Andrian. Auxiliary was Francis Powell. And SALs, the Sons of the American Legion, was Tanner Avalos. We also have other color guard in the audience. William Breakoff. Melissa Breakoff. For the auxiliary is Dolores Shu. Mr. Ramirez. Ms. Angelina Chavez here today. No? She was the captain of the color guard when I first joined. Also, for the Sons, we have Jerry Evans and Richard Lockwood. And thank you. Our juniors today are Jocelyn Guerrero. Desiree Alvarado grew up this year, so she's now part of our senior rank, which I'm very proud to say. And Nadia Breakoff is the lady that has been running around here giving you all the poppies in the pretty red dress with all the flowers on it. Thank you very much, Nadia. Our officers today are wearing Wayne Kerrigan, who's the past commander. Brad Smith, which is the SAL commander, is right here. And I am the auxiliary president. This year is the American Legion Auxiliary's 100th anniversary, which actually ended up on the Marine Corps birthday, which makes me very proud. And all of our members are proud to serve our veterans wherever and whenever we can. Service, not self, is our motto, and paying it forward to our vets, the city, and the community is what we try hard to do. I leave you with this today. Our flag does not fly because the wind moves it. It flies with the last breath of each soldier who died protecting it. And remember, I was not prepared to serve. I was not prepared to be wounded. I was not prepared to die. However, when I came home, I was not prepared to be forgotten. So please remember all our veterans, whether they're where you can see them, where you can't see them, whether they're homeless, whether they have homes. A veteran is a veteran, and they paid a high price for what we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. And now please join us as we pay tribute to all branches of the military during the service medley. All city band will perform. wish you could all see what I see when I stand up here, and I feel the emotion and the pride of each and every one of you who stood when your service medley was played, but also the families that are here. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Let's give our band, led by Mr. Frank Hinojos, another round of applause. I am honored this morning to present our first speaker, Petty Officer 3rd Class with the U.S. Navy, Fernando Lopez. Just one day after turning 18, Mr. Lopez enlisted in the Navy. From 2007 to 2012, Mr. Lopez served on board the USS Ronald Reagan, CBN 76 at a damage controlment. He completed 3 deployments to the Persian Gulf and 1 RIMPAC. For a majority of his military service, Mr. Lopez was assigned to the at-sea fire party, also known as the Flying Squad. Mr. Lopez shortly left the Navy to pursue a college degree and then returned as a commissioned officer. Today, Mr. Lopez operates a business here in our very own community of Norwalk. If you haven't stopped by to Zen's Tea House on Pioneer Boulevard, please do, as you will be supporting a veteran-owned business. Please help us with it.
Thank you, Mary Rose. Thank you, City of Norwalk. I want to first say to all the veterans, thank you for your service. To all the family members showing up here, friends and family, community members, it means a lot to us to show up. So on behalf, I want to say thank you. So I'm a young veteran, and it doesn't feel like it anymore. I've been out 7 years. The summer I graduated, I signed up, joined, I was 18. I broke my mom's heart, she's right here. I was the first in my family to join the military, and it was fun. It was 5 years, I was gone a lot, and again, I had the full intention on going back in. How many of the veterans enjoyed their service, and had they had the opportunity, would have extended their time? Thank you. There are some crazy people like us. We just love the military, and some of us, we've just done our time when we got out, and that's great. I, like many veterans, had a heart for service. I was very proud to put on the uniform, and I got out because I had the full intention to go back in as a commissioned officer. In my last 2 deployments, I served along the Marine Corps Air Squadron, and I saw, man, these guys are sharp. If I'm going to be an officer, I'm going to do Marine Corps OCS. So that's what I sought to. But when I got out, it was actually really tough. Just transitioning to being a civilian was tough. I was gone 4 deployments in 5 years. The military, it was at a time from 2007 to 2012, they don't really spend that much time going out anymore. But, I got out, and I tried to connect with my family, and there was a disconnect. It was tough. It was tough coming back and transitioning. So, I was like, okay, I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to go to school. And I'm married. I'm 23 years old. And I'm getting treated just like another millennial. Like, oh, yeah. That was tough. That was a shot to my ego. But the real tough part was when I was looking for a job, and I told employers, I served 5 years, I'm going to go to school full time, I'm going to get out and go back in and serve our country. And they said, we're not going to give you a job. That was tough. So when you're out at sea and you deploy and something breaks down, your plans go to the wayside, you figure things out. And so I thought, I'm just going to start a part-time job, a weekend business at the farmer's market. The first one was in Downey, right down the street. And things were going well. First couple of years, I thought, this is cool. Business is doing. and we're expanding. I use my military training because the military, what they do is they teach you how to be focused. I had a mission first focused. You know, when things break down, you figure out a way to get it done, and you're disciplined, and, you know, like the ones who said, yeah, I'll re-enlist. You know, we have a sense for adventure. We like taking risks, and that puts you in an advantage as a business owner. But 2 years from pretty much the date I got discharged, I had my first flashback. And I thought, oh crap, I better get the ball rolling. So I put in my OCS package in, and during my senior year finals, I had my second flashback, broke down in the Whittier College library. Long story short, I ended up in the psych ward. I got diagnosed with PTSD, and I felt broken, and I felt worthless. I felt like a failure. But that's not the case. That's not the case because, you know, veterans, we outperform students. Business owners, the 2012 census says that, you know, we employ more veterans. Our success rate, our ability to overcome and adapt. It was called a spiritual awakening. I found that my service is no longer in the military, but it's here in my community, in our community, where veterans give back, where veterans create jobs, where veterans mentor other citizens who want to give back. And I can tell you from those who served before me that no one can help a veteran like another veteran. And so when you say thank you to a vet, just know you're paying your dividends, not just to that person, not just to that young man, that woman, but to their family, to their kids, and the next generation who are going to serve our United States military. Thank you.
Wow. That was truly very emotional, very touching to hear from Mr. Lopez and his willingness and vulnerability to just put it all out there for us. Thank you, Fernando, for serving both our country and our community. In recognition of your service to our country and for your participation in our ceremony today, the City of Norwalk would like to present you a plaque. I would now like to introduce our next speaker, Signal Support System Specialist with the U.S. Army, Andy Morales. Mr. Morales enlisted in the Army after graduating high school. He served for 9 years as a Signal Support System Specialist in South Korea, Fort Polk, Louisiana, and in Stuttgart, Germany, with one deployment to Camp Victory, Baghdad, Iraq. During his time in service, he was awarded several medals, including Army Commendation, 2 Army Achievements, Good Conduct, National Defense Service, Global War on Terrorism Service, Iraq Campaign, 2 Overseas Service Ribbons, and a Purple Heart. Today, Mr. Morales is passing his knowledge and discipline as an assistant martial arts instructor and fitness trainer at the Jeff Speakman's Kenpo 5-0 Whittier School. Please help me welcome Mr. Morales.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, first of all, to the City of Norwalk, the Mayor, the City Council, all distinguished guests, and of course, fellow veterans and family members. We get to celebrate ourselves today, which to me always felt kind of awkward to celebrate the thing that I've always felt was just my job to do. As you heard from the Mayor, enlisted 18 years old, right out of high school, and went around the world knowing that I was pretty much done with school because I had a few bad experiences and I had no idea what college had to offer for me. So I figured I'll just get to work and go into the military. The deployment to Iraq was obviously very interesting for myself, but I'd already been overseas twice, to Korea and then Germany. So I was already used to any kind of culture shock that I might have already be experiencing, and was very open to that. Even though we had tons of training and we were at the point where we no longer needed to think we were just reacting to certain situations, nothing ever really prepares you for seeing your buddies messed up. Nothing prepares you for that. But you do your job, and you do it anyway. I am one of the lucky few that I can honestly say that the three of us in that vehicle survived. We came home with obvious things going on in our heads, physical pain, mental pain, and we struggled. We even struggled to stay in contact with each other. We just had a hard time trying to relive that moment. But I stayed in the military for another few years after that. And once I started missing birthdays and stuff from my own kids, I figured it was time to get out. I loved serving, but it was definitely time to get out. And so I got out in 2007, which is when our economy took a dump. And it was tough. So I got a job doing whatever I could. I ended up getting custodial work over at the Huntington Library. And I was an angry person. I would lash out at everybody, anybody who looked at me wrong. They were automatically my enemy. The funny thing is, they probably weren't even looking at me. They were probably looking at something behind me, and the sun was in their eyes. But they just had that look, and I took everything personally. But what hurt most of all was I was that way with my own family. The thing that I loved the most, my kids, I was failing as their father. I love you guys. But something told me that for me to be able to be there for them, I needed to work on myself. How can I be there for others if I am so broken? I can't. It's impossible. It's not meaningful and it's not genuine. So I started working on myself. We lucked out and found the Jeff Speakman Kempo 5.0 schools, mainly for the kids, discipline, things like that. My wife and I decided, let's go ahead and do it. I've always wanted to be, always wanted to learn martial arts. I'm a kid of the 80s. Everyone knows the Karate Kid movies. So why can't I be Daniel's son too? I didn't realize that I would actually love it. It became a real passion for me. And 35 years old, I was a white belt. And here I am now 4 years later. I'm a second degree brown belt, working on my third degree brown belt next month, which means by next July, I will be my first degree black belt. Which, if anybody has martial arts experience, is an incredibly hard achievement, and it's very stressful, but in the best possible way. But because of that family now that we have been a part of, I was able to make friends and network with people, and one of those people happened to be a health coach. And she approached me. She said, I think you would make an incredibly great health coach. And I looked at her and I said, what are you talking about? I don't know anything about that, So I basically blew her off for 6 months. But then realized that being on the mat and trying to do what I needed to do just for my own martial arts experience, I could barely get through an hour class. I was out of breath. I was everything. I was feeling really bad, no energy. So I contacted her again. I said, I know you contacted me about being a health coach, but I really need to get healthy myself. And so she said, okay, great. So we signed up, my wife and I signed up to be clients, and it was great. Within the first week, I lost 8 pounds. Energy was skyrocketed off, just off the charts. And I said, okay, well, this program is really, really, really good. And you've got my attention now for becoming a health coach. How can I pay this forward? And so we talked about it. And so now, since May of 2018, I decided to become a health coach. And I've, been helping other people with whatever it is they have. They have going on, whether it's weight gain, weight loss, our mental hang-ups about food. I didn't even realize that I was an emotional eater. But obviously, with all the baggage I've been carrying around, I put on the weight. And this program really helped me focus on that. It was not just me losing weight anymore. It was me getting truly healthy, mentally healthy, so I can then be a better coach and help those that struggle as well. So over the past year and a half, I've been able to help a few people change their lives. And that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't taken a chance on just becoming a martial artist. And it's kind of that butterfly effect. You do one thing, you open the door for the next thing, you open the door for the next thing. And I literally just yesterday got back from Arizona with a business summit with 3,500 other health coaches. And there were tears. There were people having breakthroughs. It was an amazing experience, and it's truly just people wanting to serve each other. And I realized that I have a great thing that I can do for people, and in turn, it helps me be a better person. I have my own breakthroughs, and it's been a wild ride to go from the thoughts of suicide to now I want to be there for anybody who's willing to listen and willing to share their story. They will have my undivided attention. Absolutely. And I'm just very grateful for my family, my parents, my brother, my kids. They are my true strength. They're the gift from God to give me true strength. And I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for them. So if I just put it out to anybody who is struggling with anything, no matter how small you think it might be, reach out to somebody. Anybody who's willing to listen. Take a chance on yourself, because you're worth it. Because your family loves you. Your family needs you more than you could even imagine. They need you. Your community needs you. Even if it's just picking up a can off the sidewalk and putting it in a trash can. There's nothing that's too small that you can do for your community. There really isn't. And I'm a resident of Whittier, and I'm here in Norwalk talking to everyone here. But we're all people. Your community is wherever you happen to be standing in that moment. That's your community. So again, if you are dealing with anything and you feel alone and you feel like there's no way through, reach out to somebody. Please, reach out to somebody, because you are definitely worth everything. You're worth your weight in gold. You are worth so much more than you know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morales, for sharing your story with us. Like Mr. Lopez, your stories are an inspiration to our community. On behalf of my colleagues and the entire Norwalk community, I would like to present you with the plaque in recognition of your military service and participation in our event. Before we continue, I would like to ask Andy's family and Fernando's family to please stand to be recognized at this time. I'd now like to call forward a supporter of veterans here in our community and in the region. Please help me welcome Assembly Member Cristina Garcia.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here today as we celebrate and honor those who have made the greatest sacrifice, our veterans. To all the service members who are here today, thank you for your service. Thank you for laying your life on the line to defend our freedoms. We salute the brave who have protected our democratic way of life, so making the ultimate sacrifice. I didn't serve in the military. When I come to these events, when I have meetings with veterans, I do appreciate the investment you're making in sharing your story with myself so I could better understand the needs I need to be fighting for in the community. To both Andy and Fernando, thank you for sharing your stories with us today. It takes a lot of courage to stand up here, and it does make a difference to other veterans, but it makes a difference to individuals like myself to learn better what we need to be fighting for. When I come to these events, I always encourage veterans to reach out to my office to help me learn so I could be a better legislator. And I do want to take a moment to thank Art Sanchez this year for calling my office just to come in and chit-chat with me a little bit about his experience in Vietnam and then his experience coming home, and reminding us that we need to make sure we are thanking our military men and women out there who are fighting to protect our democratic way out there. Those reminders, those conversations are so important out there. And so I want to thank you also for your service. I don't know all your names, veterans, and you deserve me learning all your names and saying all your names out loud for all your service and all your sacrifice. Thank you again. There are over 1.9 million veterans here in California. That's more than any other state. Well, we can always do a lot more to help our veterans. The state and federal government have several services and funds for a variety of needs. And I'm not going to pretend that they're adequate and serve all your needs, but I do want to remind you that we do have services out there and want to make sure that we're doing all we can so that you can take advantage of those services. So please call our office. We can help with specific services like healthcare assistance with MyCalVet, access to veteran housing and education programs like college tuition fee waivers and special home loan programs, employment services for vets through the EDD or CalJobs, and special driver's license and ID cards that can help veterans gain access to services. I want to help as many veterans get connected to these resources. The last thing I want is for veterans to come home and feel like they're out here alone after they've sacrificed so much for our community. And while Veterans Day is about honoring those brave enough to have served our country, we have to remember to honor their families. They too are soldiers. The wives, the husbands, the children, siblings, and the parents give up a great deal when someone they love serves in the military. Let's please give them another round of applause. But most importantly, it's not just about honoring them on Veterans Day, but it's about honoring them year-round, because their service protects the life that we have year-round and the values and the great things we get to enjoy with their families on a regular basis. And so I hope that today we have that gratitude in our heart and we carry it forward year-round for these veterans and their families. I do want to take a moment, though, and I want to thank the City of Norwalk for working with me. I have a program called the Pride of the 58. If you haven't heard about it, it's a program where we recognize community members in the 58th district bettering their neighbors' lives, never expecting anything in return. It's community-driven. I encourage you, if you're in the 58th district, to nominate other individuals. I get to learn about their stories, and more importantly, on behalf of the state legislature, I get to thank them for the service to their community. And so today I have a veteran that I want to recognize. I have Moises Rios Hernandez. Moises served 2 deployments with the U.S. Marine Corps for Operation Iraqi Freedom before returning to Downey as the owner, head butcher as a pit master at Lewis Butcher Shop. He's also the founder of Courage Forward, a nonprofit that outreaches to veterans to provide a network of resources such as employment, housing, and health access. Moises is best known for breaking the stigma of being a veteran as he serves the community at homeless kitchens and mentors many of our youth, providing them with jobs opportunities. Moises' mission to humanize veterans and educate the community that veterans are employable, employed, public servants, parents, and tax-paying citizens, and that their contributions go far beyond service abroad is a humbling example of not just community service, but leadership. For those reasons and more that I don't have time to list today, he is this November's Pride of the 58th honoree. Moises, thank you for your service to our country and to our community. You are what makes our community shine, and you are the pride of the 58th. Another veteran that continues to serve our community out there and help so many out there. We are lucky that we are rich in this community with so many men and women who are of service out there. And I hope we continue to honor them year-round. Courage Forward started in Downey, but they do work throughout the region and throughout the 57th and the 58th Assembly District out there, including here in the city of Norwalk. If you have time or if you need resources, please reach out to them. They're a great organization. They're here to be of service. Again, to the city of Norwalk and the American Legion, thank you for coordinating such an honorable event for our community to honor and celebrate our veterans. A special thank you to Priscilla Segura for making room for me in today's program. God bless our veterans, our service members, their families in the United States of America. Happy veterans to all of our heroes.
Thank you, Assemblymember Cristina Garcia, for your participation today and for honoring another veteran who is giving back to the community. The city of Norwalk is a community that supports its veterans, and one way we do this is by displaying our support through the Hometown Heroes banner program. Banners bearing soldiers' names are displayed along major city corridors, and after 1 year are presented to the honoree or family. Today, we are proud to present these banners to 4 Norwalk service members. Council, please join me as we make our presentations. Honorees, when I call your name, will each soldier and his or her family come forward? If a family member would like to speak, we welcome your comments. Assisting us with the banners will be a Norwalk Public Safety Cadet, Jimmy Gomez, who will be assisting us through this program. Jimmy? First, we have Jerry Contreras, Petty Officer, 2nd Class, U.S. Navy. Next, we have Luis Fernando Carcaño, Private 1st Class, U.S. Marine Corps. We'll hold on to that banner for him. Nathaniel Nicholas Robles, Sergeant, U.S. Marine Corps.
On behalf of the Robles family, I'd like to say thank you to the city of Norwalk and the council members and the mayor. My son couldn't be here. He was actually recalled back, so he's doing workups to help other Marines get ready to go to Afghanistan. So keep him in your hearts and minds, and I guess he's on his 9th year going into the military, so it looks like he's going to be a lifer. So thank you for all the veterans. Thank you. It's one thing to see my son. I'm a veteran, and see your own son going to the military is a different feeling than your own. You know, you go as your family, as your mom looks at you, and you going in, but now as a parent, I see my mom now and what she was going through when I went in. So a little payback, I guess, for all that. But thank you, everybody, once again. No, veterans, thank you. We're off.
Jacob Anthony Godinez, Lance Corporal, U.S. Marines.
As a young child, Jacob was shy, caring, and determined to be brave. As he got older, his determination to do the right thing while helping others, even if he knew would be hard, strengthened his bravery, proving to himself that all it takes is determination, hard work to accomplish anything he sets his mind to do. It was no surprise to us that during his senior year in high school, he announced that he would join the military upon graduation. Today, Jacob Anthony Godinez is a Lance Corporal in the United States Marine Corps, and very proud of him.
On behalf of the Norwalk community and all my colleagues on the City Council, we thank you for your service. Now, as we close our ceremony, I'll ask you to stand for God Bless America, followed by the benediction and retiring of colors.
Be gracious unto us, O God, and bless us. As we depart from this place, stretch forth your protection and guard our country, that we, being devoted to your service, may ever be defended by your power. Amen.
I want to thank everyone for being here. Although there's a lot of work that happens in the background to make this program possible, it would not be as successful without all of your participation and presence here this morning. Thank you for giving of your time to honor our veterans on this day. I want to ask that you all remember what was spoken today by our speakers, Andy and Fernando, amongst others, who shared with you words of wisdom, compassion, perseverance, dedication, and love. And I hope that those words of wisdom will stay in your hearts and stay in your mind and stay in your actions, not just today, but throughout every day and everything that you do for others and for our community. With that, I thank you. This concludes our ceremony, and have a blessed day.